All right, we're back. We got some major predictions to do. Well, not really major predictions, but the last qualifier predictions. This is where things get really, really serious. Um, we're gonna go through the entire Swiss, go through the bracket, see what the points rankings. This is what we start at, and we'll see how it ends. We'll see. I know there's a way to get six-way tie. I don't think it's gonna happen because I don't see TSM making the miracle run to top four this time. I think they do need to do that. That being said, we could still see tiebreakers based on how the bracket works out. Either way, I am scared for this event. Everyone knows who I'm a fan of and knows the season that we have had so far, and I hope we can either, pull off an upset, get an easier bracket, whatever it might be. I think I'll just do this. Muffin Men, I want to see the Muffin Men do well. I do, but they're just not going to do well against G2. This is Squishy's last event in RLCS ever. I know Gibbs talked about going on the mainstream to just follow the Muffin Men once they're on elimination point. And honestly, I know they're trying to share the wealth on who they show on the mainstream, but they should show Squishy's last series. So anytime it's the Muffin Men on elimination point, show them. I don't care if they try to reverse sweep the Swiss, just do it. Um, but for this matchup, GenG Snowmen, I don't see the Snowmen challenging either. I do like this squad. I think they've got a lot of talented individuals, and I think they'll start to put it together. They picked up Xpere as a coach, who was the former coach of Team Liquid. So I think that's a really good pickup by them, actually. And I'm excited to see them next split, but I think this is still going to be slowly putting things together. Luminosity Dignitas is one of the two that I could imagine we see on the mainstream. Actually, one of the three. Um, but I think Dignitas have lost the step a little bit. I know Dignitas are on boot camp, which is kind of surprising. I know there's a lot of teams that are going to be boot camping this weekend, Dignitas being one of them. I don't think it's going to help against Luminosity. I think they'll get the win 3-1. I think this is a dream draw, no matter who you are. If you're Omelet, you're loving the fact that you got young whippersnappers. If you're young whippersnappers, you're loving the fact you got Omelet. I think that being said, though, I'll make it go 5. I'll make it interesting, but Omelet will take care of business there. OG and M80. I know Reddles has talked about this one. He said it's a nightmare matchup for M80. And so, honestly, I know it's M80 and Swiss, but keeping just the matchup, the play style wise in mind, we did see M80 drop a game in the double elimination phase to TSM as well, which is kind of surprising. So I think I'm going to go. I'll make it close because it is Swiss Jorias, but I will go 3-2 in favor of OG. TSM Boulevard. Boulevard is a new team here. They're Alraz, Delta, and Repeat. They were able to upset X Deleted to get in. Props to them, but I think this is a great matchup if you're TSM to start. I'll give it a 3-1. Pirates NRG. NRG have been looking better, all things considered. I know they had a very weak run through Swiss, aside from randomly sweeping Luminosity. They took Space Station to Game 5 in the open quals. They also got taken to Game 5 by Shmoo. Got forced to reverse sweep. So, definitely interesting. But I am very high on this Pirates on a boat roster still. They beat Shopify Rebellion to make it into the main event. So, props to them. And then Space Station Rebellion. We saw this matchup in the first event. It required a reverse sweep from Space Station. I think if Space Station play their game, they are better than Shopify. Shopify is one of the few teams that is on a boot camp. M80 and OG are the other two, actually. So, wouldn't be surprised to see Shopify outperform what I'm probably going to predict them as. I'm giving this a 3-1 in favor of Space Station. I think they are the better team. G2 versus Pirates. I cannot take the Pirates with that much faith. I'll give it a 3-0, similar to how it was in the playoffs last event. GenG OG, because this is a required matchup this season. This will not be the time where Nolly gets his revenge. He'll end up losing to them again. I'm sorry, dude. Luminosity Omelet. You're loving this matchup if you are Luminosity. And I'm going to give it a 3-2. It was a reverse sweep in the first event. Omelet went 2-0 up on Luminosity in the double elimination phase, and then Luminosity came back, reverse swept, and then Omelet didn't make the main event. So I will give Omelet the one game because of that, but we'll still give Luminosity the win. TSM Space Station. I think this is where that scenario where it's a 6-way tiebreaker breaks off and TSM ends up going on some insane miracle run where they go on a top 4. That being said, I don't see it happening. I know TSM was great in the offseason, but we've seen them in the real season just drop games they shouldn't be dropping. I'll give them 1 game, but Space Station wins that again. NRG Snowmen. I know I just said NRG was doing better, but I also did mention the fact that they had to reverse sweep Shmoo. It's a young player with it's a young team with mechanics. I got to give it to the Snowmen. I just feel like young talent coming out of nowhere is NRG's downfall. I think they lost the young Whippersnappers in their first event. Case in point. So M80 and Muffin Men, I'm sorry that I can't give it to Squishy. I am, but they're going to get clapped. Whippersnappers and Dignitas. This is a good matchup if you're Dignitas wanting to bounce back. I know Whippersnappers have the potential to win this, and so I'll give them 1 game, but Dignitas should be winning that, no questions asked. And then Rebellion should be beating Boulevard as well. I like the Boulevard squad, but I don't think they're much better than barely scraping into main events as they've shown this season. Our mandatory Space Station versus G2. It's going to be 3-1 as it always is. GenG versus Luminosity. I think this is also going to be pretty straightforward, but I will make it 3-2. If there's ever a game that GenG is going to drop, it'll be this one to Luminosity. And GenG will go 2-0 through the Swiss to hopefully save my mind. You guys know what I'm talking about. TSM Snowman. I hate to do this, but this feels like the exact matchup that TSM would drop randomly 0-3 in the middle of the bracket to completely screw over their chances. I feel like they're constantly like competing with good teams and can take down most teams that are like, they plan for like Boulevard here. But once it comes down to this Snowman matchup in this round 3, I feel like they just disappear. Dignitas Omelet, I cannot go against Common Theory. I've seen this twice now. Would not be surprised to see it a 3rd time if we do see this matchup. Omelet seems to have Dignitas' number in Game 5 at this moment. OG Rebellion, this is a huge one for major implications, honestly. I think OG is definitely ahead, and this one we haven't seen. I could see it going either way, but I think this is where the old guard does take over. This would be a very exciting match to see in this 1-1 range. Then Pirates M80. I want to say the Pirates do well, but they feel like, I know I've made this analogy before, they feel like Ghost Gaming back in like 2021 of fall, where they were hanging around, they were getting multiple top 8s, putting themselves in the, hey, we're still in the major conversation part, but then they're probably not going to be able to get it done in this last regional. They'll end up falling off and be like, and teams will then say, oh yeah, that's about where I had Pirates on a boat. I hope they still make top 8. I hope they still do well. But I don't have them doing better than M80 for sure. And so I got to have them losing that match. I did not mean to do this. I genuinely didn't. Of course it sets up like this, man. Of course it does. This would be on the mainstream. No questions asked. This is Garrett G. This is Garrett G holding up the gun crying. Rest in peace, Squishy's career. I can't believe I actually had him going out 0-3. Oh, man. That's brutal. Young Whippersnappers, I'm going to give them the respect for what they did in the main event. I'll give Boulevard 1 because I do like the squad, but Young Whippersnappers will win that. Luminosity OG. That is a high-profile matchup. We saw it in the semifinals of the last event, and I'm going to go with the same result, actually. It's going to be a 3-1 in favor of Luminosity. I got them there. Space Station loves this omelet draw. They'll go to 5 because they'll try to make it interesting because they always do. But that will happen. And then M80 Snowmen, I'll give it 3-1. And so, yeah, those are your 3-1 matchups. I'll see where Space Station lands. Rebellion will be able to take out Young Whippersnappers 3-1. I'm going to make everything a 3-1, apparently. Dignitas NRG, this could be a slipping point for Dignitas where they shouldn't be slipping. And I might get some hate for this, especially if Dignitas make the run, but they haven't convinced me recently. They've definitely been on the downtrend. And, yeah, I just can't do it. TSM Pirates, I wanted to see TSM do better this event, but I mean, I do have just more faith in the Pirates. I'll make it close, but Pirates move on to the final round where they get omelets. This I would take it. I would take it. Omelet versus Pirates. I'll have Pirates go through. I didn't think I was going to do it. I was talking about how the Ghost Gaming. That being said, I'll have them in a close matchup where they're able to take down Omelet at the very last moment. Rebellion Snowmen. I know we saw this matchup in the first event. It was a game 5. This time it's going to be a little cleaner. Shopify won't need the reverse sweep. OG should not have a problem with NRG. 3-1, and they'll go through. Our playoff bracket now looks like this. We got our best of 7 between these two teams finally. But oh gosh, this gets weird. This gets so weird. G2 Pirates 4-1. I'll give Pirates a game this time. Luminosity Space Station. This is where I know everyone's comments are going to flood to me. I know. But I have been convinced that Space Station is the 3rd best team in North America. Yes, they could be doing better in individual games, but they are finding ways to win the series. They did not look like the better team against the Luminosity in that one series, in fairness. But they were still able to figure out how to win it in Game 5 overtime. Seems like except for the G2s and the GenGs of the world, Space Station have found ways to win when situations are completely dire. I'll make it 4-2. It'll be entertaining because everyone knows Major's on the line. But I'll back him. GenG OG. I want to say OG has a really good chance at Major here, but I really can't. Or not at Major, but at winning this. I really can't. I'll give him 1 game, but GenG will be able to go through. GenG is still just better. Then M80 Rebellion. We've seen this matchup before, and we'll see it again. So I'm repeating a lot of history here. North America is not the most interesting region, all things considered. This will be a 4-1. This will be a 4-0. And then this will be a 4-2. It'll make it slightly closer this time. I do think G2 is just the strongest team in the region. I don't think they'll be challenged. I think they'll take the perfect North America split. The points rankings works out kind of nicely for the faithful. Other teams that are contending for Major are obviously OG, M80, Pirates. They're all on the same amount of points as Space Station here. Luminosity's got a solid 6-point lead heading into the event. Rebellion are a little bit further behind. TSM are not too far behind. Dignitas has a 1-point lead, but if they do go out in the Swiss like slated, it'll be, kind of that they won't be contending. So, yep, that's what I end up having. I am hoping that we make it. I know you guys know who I'm a fan of. I hope we make it. I think as of now, we're the 3rd best team in North America. We could prove differently this weekend. If we, start to drop some of those matches that we shouldn't be dropping, then obviously opinions are subject to change. But right now, I think, are the 3rd best team in North America. The only team I can really see an argument for being over us is M80, and that's because they do have that conundrum of lower floor, higher ceiling, and the higher ceiling with the 2 wins over GenG do say a lot. But if we get GenG in this 4-5 matchup again, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna be losing it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. The odds of that happening 3 times in a split have to be ridiculous, but we'll see. Tune in on Friday. Thank you, Adam, for making these sheets, and I'll catch you later.